Let's talk about surveys. Okay. Are you scared of what your survey results might say? Well, I figured you'd say that. So looking at surveys, we start off with thinking about candidate experience surveys. In candidates experience surveys, they assess how that candidate was treated, who did they talk to, and how was that interaction, and did they understand what was expected of them? Now, there are a whole lot of things that we can glean from these candidate experience surveys, but we want to know how good and how valuable that relationship was with that candidate during that experience throughout the hiring process, because it's going to set the foundation for what their employee experience is going to be like. Next, we talk about hiring manager preference. I say preference there because we want to know what their preferences are and then layer them over the processes that we have in place for the talent acquisition model. If we look at the hiring manager preference, what is the most important to them? And any good hiring manager will know what's important to their team as well. Also, how easy was it to partner with the recruiting efforts? They might understand certain HR systems and functions and what's expected of them there in that avenue, but what is expected of them in the recruiting efforts? That's a whole different ball game that we need to assess in these hiring manager surveys. Also, are they confident that they made the right choice in all that they reviewed and all of the results that you produced from your recruiting team? Are they confident that they made the right choice in selecting the candidate that they did? Next, we do dig into employee satisfaction. Now, how does that relate to the talent acquisition process? Well, I'll tell you. We need to know if that employee not only is satisfied, but is the role or the company the same as what they expected from the hiring process. Also, we want to know if they feel supported as a candidate coming into the role and now as an employee. And lastly, we'd like to know if they are going to be able to tell someone something important about their experience that we want to know. If they were telling someone coming in what to expect, we want to know that to be able to enhance their experience. Lastly, we want to look at some surveys in regards to recruiter aptitude. Now, this is the one that often gets forgotten. We really don't look here very often as talent acquisition experts because we're just on to the next. And we expect our recruiting teams to be able to figure it out, use the resources that they have at hand, and just move on and keep pushing forward. But if we stop and we put some really good systems in place to make sure that we are assessing and surveying our recruiter aptitude and having that level set moment, we're going to look at rating specific tools and resources that your recruiting team has access to. Are they even using all of the tools that they have at their disposal? Do they like all of the tools? And do they really, really know how to use them to the best of their abilities? Also, we want to look at partnership pairings. So here in partnership pairings, you're going to want to assess what partnerships make the most sense for the work that each recruiter is doing. Also, we definitely want to look at continuing education and implementing new skills, but more is not always better. We want to make sure that the continuing education is focused on aptitude, not just more tools, more resources, more for your recruiters to constantly be learning because they've got a really important job to do and they want to make sure that they feel confident to do their job well. So these are just a few of the areas that we can dig in on with your teams in order to assess where these results can be used from these surveys into your talent acquisition process.